Kimu SDC with you here today, and I'm gonna start it off with a PLH. Peace, love, and happiness all day, every day. I hope you're doing well today, because we got some good stuff to talk about. Now, I'm gonna start it off with this. A lot of times when we're trying to find out some characteristics of ourselves or what our day is going to be like, what tomorrow is going to be like, we often think of first thing we think of is the horoscope. Fine, I'm a Virgo, so I definitely go for that to find out what type of qualities I have. Also, I use the Chinese calendar to kind of get a general understanding of what type of characteristics I have. I also use the Druid system, in which your personality is correlated to a certain tree that might grow during that certain time of year, those characteristics. But I came upon a bit ago on what is called life numbers. Life numbers are wonderful. When I looked into my life number, it definitely gave me insight into who I am. A lot of it was completely dead on. Putting the nail inside the coffin, it was dead on who I am and the way that I behave. So I found out that I'm a number 5. And shout out to all the number 5s, lovely people. Even if you're not a number 5, still love you, still wonderful, you're still great. But the way that you calculate your life path number is by taking the year that you were born and adding those numbers together. And then you take the sum of that, and then you add that to, and you put it down, make it into a single digit number. Take that, add that to the month that you were born, and then the day that you were born, and then you break that down to a single digit number. The only time that you don't break anything down to a single digit number is when you encounter what is called a master number. Now, I was born on 9/11. So I don't break down 11 into 2. You don't break down 22 into 4. You don't break down 33 into 6. So once I did those calculations, found out that I was a number 5. Woo! Number 5. So now that brings us to some qualities of the number 5. Now, we are, number 1, adventurous. Very adventurous. When it comes to new experiences, I realize that I'm all over it. When it comes to eating new type of food at a different restaurant that I've never been to, I'm all over it. I know when I found out that there was a vegan ice cream shop, never heard of it. I got a little bit of info on it, but I never really seen it before. And when I got there, well, number 1, I was all for it. But when I got there, completely not what I expected. Everything, the cookies, the cone, most of the stuff was vegan there. And the ice cream, they had dairy and non-dairy options. But even though they had some odd ice cream flavors, I was like, hey, let's do it. Never did it before. Go big or go home. One of my mottos. And I said, all right, let's go. So even looking back, I've always been that type of person who was ready for a new experience. When it came to taking a trip to somewhere I've never been, I'm all over it. And even if it was a next stage in life, like when I went off to college, I was excited about that because it was a new experience. Not because I was going off to college, but because of the fact that it's a new experience. So just being adventurous is definitely one of the great qualities of being a number 5. Which brings us to the next one, our communication skills. As number 5s, we're good communicators. I've realized, and even as I look back, I'm very diplomatic in my speech and the way that I communicate to people. When I reminisce on the speeches that I've done, whether they were motivational or just an exchange of words, I was able to convey what I saw in my head and make it into words. I'll never forget times when I was in college and I would go to my advisor, and she was like my school mom, always looking after me. And she knew that if I hadn't came by in a while, she knew that I was putting in work in my studies. But one thing was, whenever I tell a story or whenever I tell even a dream, I always had some type of vivid imagery that went with it. And people told me, mate, you should keep a dream journal just so that you can express those stories. But when I write it down, it probably won't come out the same. But even when I'm just telling a simple story, an interaction that I had, a lot of times for comical purposes, I'll give exaggerated details. But going back to being a good communicator, I've always been able to choose the correct words, so that way I can communicate effectively what it is I want to say. I know I've dealt with a lot of people in which they don't really know how to say what they want to say, or they can't choose the right words. But as number 5s, if you look at who you are, we're pretty good at choosing the right words and putting certain words in certain spaces in our phrases to convey exactly what we want to say. Now, number 3 is the number 5's versatility. That is the award, that is our breadwinner right there, our versatility. We can be thrown into any situation and still come out okay, unscathed. Well, we may come out with a little scratches, but we're coming out and we fought through that situation. I know when I look back on the things that I've done, I was thrown into many situations, and I'm still thrown into many situations that I don't invite myself into. For example, I go to open mics sometimes, and I had to reap what I sow, of course, because I told the host that whenever he needs me, I got him. So he doesn't even put me in the queue and let me know. Well, he puts me in the queue, but he doesn't let me know when I'm going to be going up to say whatever. Usually it's poetry or spoken word. And I just hear my name and I'm just like, oh, okay. But in any situation, we come out on top. We always are okay. Because when I realized that I'm versatile in that aspect, and I've gotten questions on how I remain so poised, I developed what I call the 3 C's: cool, calm, and collective. That describes me all the time. I'm a cool person, calm all the time, and I'm collective, so that way when any stimuli comes across my path, I'm always ready. I'm always able to respond appropriately. And that's just the trait of the number 5. We're just able to respond appropriately no matter what situation we're thrown into. And I mean, if you even look back if you're a number 5, you look back onto your life, you probably could say the same thing, in which you were thrown into a lot of situations and you came out better than you thought. Now, this last one takes us into a very cool direction. And I say it's cool because I never really realized it until I looked at my life path number and read up on it a little bit. And it's freedom. The number 5 craves for freedom. I realized that in any situation that is repetitive, tedious, mundane, whatever you want to call it, we deem it as boring. It may have slightly different aspects to it, but we deem it as boring. And that lack of freedom to do what we wish to do. We're free spirits at heart. That's just who we are. We're free spirits. I realized that when I wanted to make a decision, when I wanted to do something, I should be able to do it based off of how I wanted to do it. If I had to do it some other way, best believe I was going to do it my way. And that other way may be the better way, but that didn't give me that freedom that I wanted to. I know as a number 5, walking in a straight line that's not me. I'm all over. I'm walking on Snake's Way, but I'm still on the right. I'm still on my path. And I'm still going to get to where I want to be. I realized that with that, I had to develop some type of method, because with that desire for freedom, you wanna be able to do something about situations that will still give you that freedom. And I know as a number 5, being a creative person, just being able to create is not mundane to me. When I'm writing poetry, saying poetry, doing spoken word, drawing something, whenever it is some form of art, making music, whenever it's some form of art, it's never mundane to me. It's always, because there's always also a challenge with it. And just being able to feel that freedom is wonderful. I've always said that whenever somebody maybe asks me for advice, of course I'll give them the advice, but the advice that someone gives you is only what they would do based on their previous experience and how they've handled similar situations. So I've always said, if you can make that decision and sleep at night, if that's what's going to make you happy at the end of the day, then go with it, roll with it, because it's going to make you happy. Your happiness is all that matters, is all that should matter, and it's all that matters to me. I just want to make sure that everybody that I touch, every heart that I touch, every ear that hears my voice, they get positive energy. They get something that'll allow me to sleep at night. I'm never going to put out negative energy to anybody. But with being a number 5, there also are cons that come with it, of course. And if you're number 5 and you're going down, you're on the negative side of being the number 5, you'll see that you have a lack of direction. I know earlier on in my journey, I did have a lack of direction. I had so many ideas and of what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be, but I didn't pave a road for me to take so that way I could get there. I would just run in the grass and try to find out where it is that I'm going to go. And I realized that you can't do that. That's not an efficient way of doing it. Yes, you may get there, but you run into some really hard stones and rocks, and you may hit a few walls a few times, but you just kind of, when you realize that, you find ways to get past, and you find ways so that you do have direction. I developed the method in which if I wanted to be somewhere, I envision it, and then I find out what I need to do to get there, so that way I have some type of road, some type of foundation, some avenues that I can take, so that way I get to so that I can accomplish my vision. And the other downside of being the number 5 is that we seem fickle to people. We seem undependable when it comes to doing things for other people. Sometimes we're not all the way there, or we change our mind. I've realized that I've committed to some things in which, if I had responsibilities that needed to be carried out, and maybe at some point that I don't want to do them anymore. And so I had to develop a way in which I don't have to seem like that. So what I basically do is when somebody asks me something, I'll let them know. I'll think about it. That way it'll give me some time to understand exactly what I have to do, and try not to put myself in a little cubby hole and I can't get out. That comes with the freedom piece. We want to be free, but things sound really good at the time, and it's like that chocolate bar, and it's like, that looks so good. And then you get to that chocolate bar, and it was good the last time, but it's not good this time because it's a different chocolate bar, and you're just let down. So those are some things that I've done to make sure that I get away from the negative side of being a number 5 person, so that way I can stay on a positive path and not seem fickle and not suffer from a lack of direction. Because I know when people ask me now if I want to do something and it's not adventurous at all, I'll be like, I'll let you know, or I'll just throw out the idea and just say, I'll let you know if this is actually going to happen. So figure out what your life path number is. That way we can all know who we are and just have a party going like, woo, all the time. PLH, peace, love, and happiness all day, every day. Be great, be good, always love. Be positive, stay positive. Kimu SDC, over and out. Peace.